no.
Unless them old hoes need to lower their standards and realize that this. Unless you want to
Trick, no.
Unless them old want to. Unless they want a swap out, unless a swap out artist, unless them bitch want a yes man or a paymaster, I'm the sugar daddy with no sugar. Yeah, sweet and low. I'm not doing whatever you don't do, you don't get paid for. Like, stop always complaining. For real, them old stuck in their way. I ask you, where you at? You ain't my dad. I'm not your I hope I'm not your daddy. I want to know where you at in case you get in an accident, in case you get a flat tire. I'm not. See, women want to get treated like I can't. I don't like I'm going to treat you like a I treat you any kind of way. You want to get treated equal. So you telling me you want to get treated like a you can never be a you can never be me. If a man going to be a man, are you really a woman? Why you don't cook? Why you don't pay more attention to me like you pay attention to your eyelashes?
So what age do you normally like? Is it like 25?
Nah. From 22 to 35.
So you cut it out. They can't be past 35.
35? Nah, hell nah. That's right around the time they got life up right there. 35-year-old. A 35. This is about a 35 bitch with a wig on. Let's think about that. In my area, the only one wore wigs was bank robbers, drag queens, and motherfucking clowns who are prostitutes. Think about who wore a wig when you were young. Bank robbers.
You said a clown that's a
prostitutes. That's what clown hoes, we call them prostitutes.
Oh, okay. I was like, all right.
Them old hoes need to lower their standards and realize that this. Unless you want to
Trick, no.
But the younger a girl is, the less bullshit she's been through with men, and the softer she is as a person. The problem is, when you get a girl who's 30, how many dicks have been through her? And I'm not even worried about the dicks been through her. How many times has her heart been broken? How many times she had arguments that she's jaded?
Yeah, y'all. Challenging Red Pill 101. You know, the younger the woman, the more agreeable she becomes. Oh, cried. A little shaky. Pardon me, y'all. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Nerd Chronicles with your host, the socially awkward nerd, Christian Paul speaking. All right. And in lieu of what's been going on with the Shannon Sharpe and the Gabriella fiasco, or the Carly OnlyFans fiasco that we have seen over the past couple days.
You know who Sky Bree is, Ocho?
Sky Bree? Who that is, Coach?
Yeah. How I do it. How I do
Hey, Sky, I mean, who is that? Help me out.
You know what I'm saying? She little something. You know, she might be famous for vertical activity that she's good at.
Oh, she a hooper?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Who she play for? Who she play for?
You know, she got her own little thing, you know.
Huh?
Man, y'all need to stop, man. Y'all be on that bull jive, man.
Hold on. Who she play for?
You know, back in the day, she could have been on my team.
She played for on her back.
Juicy.
It got me thinking about the pseudo red pill ideology. Okay? And what they tell you, and even the MGTOW brothers, you know, they always tell you this, and their ideology is get a woman that's way younger, get a woman up in the 20s, due to the fact that she's the most agreeable, she's the most submissive, you know what I mean? She's the most cooperative, according to them, right? When you look at it in a practical lens, when you see things that are from a realistic approach, and you've experienced actually talking with women that age, late teens, early 20s, definitely like 20, 21, 22, 23-ish. You know what I'm saying? Especially like those college years. A lot of them are very immature when it comes to the brain development, when it comes to lack of experience, because they don't really know too much about high value this and $1 million homes and all that stuff. A lot of these things that they mainly see is just external. You know, they can see these things from the social hierarchy, who's the more popular, who has higher status. When they get out of college, all that stuff mainly drastically changes out the window, so they mainly distorted the theory based on like the social hierarchy in a way, right? And that's what they mainly followed it on. You know what I'm saying? Realistically speaking, some of these women are very, very immature. And a lot of these women that you see, and my nanny told me this, and my elder female cousins told me this, a lot of women that age, not only are they very shallow, they are very trifling. They're very opportunistic when it comes to actually trying to take easy breaks or trying to get like an easy lick, which is what we're seeing in the Shannon Sharpe situation, as well as possibly the Myron Gaines situation, as well as the Donnell Rawlings situation as well, when it comes to his ex-wife or his baby mama.
So I wanted to do a short story time. Not that short. I know I don't usually do this, but I really wanted to address something that has really been bothering me for the past couple of months. My son's dad is a comedian and an actor, and he did an interview with a man by the name of Shannon Sharpe on his podcast. Now, on that podcast, Shannon Sharpe did a lot of digging. My son is almost 10 years old, and my son's dad and I broke up over 6 years ago. So for him to ever try to bring me up, or a family dynamic, or the age gap is very, very shocking to me. It's not surprising, but I just feel like, you know, my son's dad has a girlfriend already. Why not do digging on her and try to figure out, you know, who's currently in his life? I just thought that women and children were just, you know, like podcasters and journalists know to...
Don't. She's 23. Donnell. 20. You. Why you didn't date her mom? Why you go for the... Donnell.
Didn't date her mom because... Why didn't I date her mom?
Yeah, good question.
No, wait.
I'm asking the question.
No, because
this ain't the Donnell Rawlings show.
Love is love.
If you don't...
Love is love.
I agree with you.
What?
You like them young, though.
Say fake. I heard you. Nope.
Don't do that. I don't like them. I don't like them young. I like what I love.
I didn't groom nobody, son. It is what it is. But I can't date nobody my age and get what I wanted. What I look like getting a 48-year-old bitch pregnant.
It's possible.
It could have happened, but I ain't want them odds.
Juicy.
Who's literally about my age, and Donnell Rawlings is literally 23 years older than us. I say 57, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, yeah, 57. Yeah, 57 is it. Yeah, my math is definitely right. So you look at these things, right? And sometimes when you're dealing with age gaps like this, you know, the personalities, yes, now you gotta worry about the personalities, but also you gotta also worry about the culture and the trends. And basically have to worry about actually being in sync with one another. You know, if you're dealing with somebody that young, you gotta try and bank on the fact that that woman that you're dealing with is making sure that she's wising up way beyond her years. And also, she has to be a hardcore ride or die, which is very, very tricky when it comes to vetting women, especially when you're dating them, right? After all the clapping cheeks, after all the intercourse and all the sexing and the blowing the loads, you know what I mean? You know, since, you know, your cock feel way bigger than anybody else's. You know? And, you know, you got to try and deal with these underlying pseudo requirements. 6 feet tall, 6 figures, 6-pack abs. Cock got to be over 6 inches. Dick got to be over 6 inches. Your knots count, you know, you got to try and high up the knots count just to try and make the imperial status to the general public. In reality, your knots count could definitely vary from person to person depending on their mindset, what they want. You know what I mean? Little do they know, they focus mainly on internal, but they don't put the internal in play, and that's where the pseudo red pill ideology and the MGTOW ideology mainly comes to shit. You know what I'm saying? If you do not have a great personality, if your personality is crappy, if you treat people like garbage, all that external stuff is mainly out the window when it comes to women that mainly know their worth. You're better off actually reserving ourselves for all these gold diggers and OnlyFans stars and the Carlys of the world, the Gabriella Carlys, you know, whatever it may be of the world that loves to fleece off money and actually offers $10,000 to $25,000 just to get the cheeks clapped or for some nudity. Anything else is going to be like $1,000. I've learned about that game from the sex worker industry, mind you, because I dug into OnlyFans myself. You know, dealing with certain pics as well, so I understand a little bit of that myself. I can confidently say that because a sex worker mainly schooled me on game in regards with this. You know what I'm saying? So, them sex workers, you know, them OnlyFans workers that you mainly deal with that rely on you to actually hold you down, they're not here for you. They're mainly here for money, made of them. And they really have like all that self-worth like that. You know what I mean? That OnlyFans more than likely will definitely be dead and gone out the window, and they just focus on any other form of modeling. Because even that is like a very wishy-washy way of actually trying to do business and making extra money. You feel me? So that's another factor that's definitely up into it. This is the consequences, right, of, it's not even about even trying to get somebody that's actually way younger that thinks it's more agreeable. You gotta try to know the mindset, because even women that are like in their 30s and 40s, they could act the same way as well. You know what I'm saying? It all comes down to thorough vetting. It all comes down to try and make sure you lead by example. Definitely make sure it's a thorough, equitable, like two-way street. If a one-way street is definitely there, you have a chance of both. If you notice that she's not thoroughly there to hold you down and she's asking for money and she wants to go to this high-fashion lifestyle restaurant and she's asking for thousands upon thousands of dollars, not only more than likely is she dealing with, she's actually being very broken, can't even actually handle herself and actually try to work for herself and trying to actually find her ways to be independent in a way, to be a grown adult and try and make her way and get her own job to actually earn that money. You know what I'm saying? You're dealing with elites. You know what I'm saying? You're dealing with elites. If she can't get her own way and they get too deep into it, they can get salty and they can get extremely jealous. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to your status, they will do everything they possibly can just to try and bring you down to their level and try and make you as miserable as them. You know? And while we up on that little Shannon Sharpe case, my reasoning as to why that suit and that claim of rape more than likely is false. Number one is a shakedown, most likely, because I've seen the text. I have not heard any detail from that particular woman, from that particular 304, if she's done a rape case, if she went to the police department to actually try and make herself she's thoroughly examined. You know, that's a big difference. Unlike her, like, yes, Cassie did file the civil lawsuit as well, but the difference between Cassie's lawsuit as well as that particular lawsuit is that Cassie was much more detailed, and much of the details that Cassie described were more gruesome on how Diddy had her abused and had her violated in many ways than one. It is so sick and extremely graphic, man. I want to try and be careful to the YouTube standards, okay? And there's another one as well that discusses other civil suits, you know, about the civil situation with Harvey Weinstein as well, right? That part was definitely gruesome also, okay? Those are the things that I could definitely mainly think about when it comes to those situations. What else can I mainly think of? Demo, yeah, the other pseudo guru. And I got a video on him on a separate clip, right? Demo. that freshman girl up in Canada, and I know it took place in Canada as well, but that woman did report to authorities. She did do a rape kit, actually trying to actually verify if she was actually raped or not, or she had any type of physical damages coming by with her vagina, and confirmation has been sent. That's how Demo got indicted and eventually convicted, and I know right now they're dealing with appeal right now, and he's definitely free under Canadian law. I'll speak about that definitely in a separate video shortly. But again, it comes down to practicing subtle skills, knowing subtle cues, reading subtle cues, and practicing definitely well when dealing with red flags and green flags. Very simple, easier said than done, but with enough practice when actually dealing with like a lot of women and actually knowing that particular woman's experiences and actually trying to learn what they are and know what their mindset is definitely over time while taking your time with them, you know what I'm saying, to try to vet and thoroughly vet if she's a ride or die, you know what I'm saying? You know, more than likely, you know what I mean, you're gonna be just fine. You'll be able to sniff out all the red flags and get that woman out your life, okay? And also note, and there's those that are actually some very narcissistic women as well that can actually drag this out for so long, and you still gotta try to sort the signs out, and those types of women are the most trickiest to actually mainly deal with, but they can be done. But again, it all comes down to sniffing women out straight on their maturity level. If they're mature based on your mature level, okay, that's definitely number one, irregardless of age. Now, it depends. It basically varies from man to man. Definitely for sure, based on the preference. You know, you go by your values, you go by your morals, you go by your preference, and basically how you feel can definitely hold you down, definitely at the end of the day, which is very important. It all is decided on you at the end, but just make sure that you thoroughly vet these people, because at the end of the day, they're going to be dictating how long that you're going to be successful up in this world and up in life. You feel me? You don't want to make the same mistake that Shannon Sharpe has made, that Donnell Rollins has made, Demo has made, Myron Gaines has made, okay? And also, Diddy, all right? So yeah, it's not whether or not that woman is, yes, you want to make sure that you gotta find the one that's definitely agreeable, but you also want to try and find the person that's also mature on your level as well, and understand the certain situations and what your values are and what you aim to seek given your scenarios. All right? And I'm going to leave it at that. Chris Paul from Nerd Chronicles is signing out as we careen into this beautiful weather up into the Hudson Valley and the Tappan Zee Bridge. Juicy. Juicy. Good. That's right.
Oh,